Nothing awkward, nothing changed. Hi, everyone. This is Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. And guess what? I was never always Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. I was actually just plain old Audrey Codner. Teenager trying to figure her life out, decided to play basketball in ninth grade year. And then all of a sudden, as terrible as it was, went to two basketball camps. And once I saw that this is something that I can do and be successful in, I decided to work at it. And I worked at it as I did because every summer I would be out on those concrete streets and actually at every basketball court known to man, any outdoor court in Philadelphia, I was at least one time or maybe more. And I worked. And I didn't have any fancy machines and I didn't have anybody to pass the ball to. Trust me, my English spin was right on point because that's what I wanted to do and that's what I wanted to seek out. So when a lot of people say, "Hey Audrey, how do you do it? How do you get your tutoring to where it wants to be?" Like, I always see you on lives. I always see you running here, running there, doing all these things. And I see your posts and I hear you on other people's podcasts. Like, how do you do it? And I know, like, is it like really true that almost every client that calls you, you get? Well, here's the thing, guys. You got to stop wanting to make a change. You got to take action. Just like I did many, many moons ago when I wanted to become a basketball player. Freshman year, terrible. Sophomore year, oh, she's improving. Junior year, recruited. Senior year, people still wanted to recruit me. Finally made my decision. And then I had to work on my next phase because we all know that everyone that comes in as a freshman, you were the best on your high school team. So now when it's time for you to represent and to show yourself off in your college, you're going to have to kind of regroup or reboot and really dig deep to find out who are you and how you fit in to their program. Same thing is going on with my tutoring business. Anytime I come across a client, in my mind, I think that this is my client. But in order for me to get to that mindset or to get to that point, I had to do some soul searching. So, one, you're probably asking, why should I even listen to this chick? Like, okay, she's a tutor. Being a tutor is nothing. You can just basically say, I'm a tutor. Poof. And then you're a tutor. You don't need a certification for it. If you have the ability, you can become a tutor. That's what happens in the great old US of A. But I know in England, they like to have certifications. Also, in a lot of other European places, they like for people to have certification. But what can you do, or what did I do to get to the point where I'm at? So if you're here with the live, hit hashtag live. If you're here with the replay, hit hashtag replay. And also put something in the comments. Interact. Stop being a stalker. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Because you know why? It helps with the algorithm. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better today. All right. A little brighter, a little joiner. So after I've shared my story of I was in the classroom for 18 years, I'm in the midst of all that, like close to the last 3 years, it was rough. And I'm a type of person that I normally don't like to open up, but I feel that my story can probably help somebody else with their quest. So the last 3 years of me teaching, I lost my father. I was at a local school. I got sick and tired of their foolishness. Then I left to go work for the state. I worked for the state for a bit, literally 13 months. And I was a teacher for their juvenile justice detention center. Let me tell you, everything's a weapon. Everything's a weapon. But I loved it. The gentleman respected me. I mean, it was just awesome. It was just like the best thing that I can possibly think of in my whole teaching career. Because then all of a sudden there was a GED program, and one kid who was like, one of the top dogs said, I want to get my GED. Well, it's more like this. I want to get my GED. I'm like, oh, okay, your voice is so deep at the rightful age of 15. Okay, scary. But sure, let me help you get your GED. So Once he was able to get the English, he was able to get everything else. Let me get all my waves in there. Hello, everyone. Hello, Paula. Hello, Joanne. Hello, everyone that's here. Um, Once he got his GED, they have like a little ceremony. And he was like, if you want to get your GED, again, low bass voice, we're not doing that. You need to see, at the time, it was like Miss Gibson. You need to see Miss Gibby. And everybody was like, what? I'm like, yeah, you need to go see Miss Gibby if you want to get your GED. Next thing you know, our section was the highest amount of students that wanted to get their GED. And when I was there, every kid passed the math GED. Every single one of them. There was 13 that signed up. Most people don't even have one. All 3 of them got their GEDs. Because the math part is always the hardest part. The reading, they can sit, they can read. That's what some of them do on the back end. But when they wanted to get the math part and they started seeing a lot of kids doing well, all of a sudden, slowly but surely, they started getting rid of the GED program. I don't know. I don't know. I can't make this up. But when I have that determination, that drive, I had to go because I felt like I was losing my mind. And then I jumped from one school to the next school. And that's what I kept doing. I was looking for that same feeling that I was getting by teaching the kids at, as we call it, baby bookings. But I wasn't getting that same feeling because it's a different type of kids. It's a different type of school. It's a different type of environment, even though I was coming in with that heart. But that's the same tactics that I take on with being an online tutor. Not every person is going to be me. So when it came down to finally making that shift from being a classroom teacher to running my own business, I had to do some research. And I know there's a lot of people that will literally think, okay, just put the sprinkle of magic dust and now I'm a tutor. No, it takes work. It takes determination. It takes drive and it takes organization, because you don't want to just be a tutor for 1 year. You want to continue it on. You want it to take over financially what you're making in the classroom. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take determination. It's going to take drive. So when people come to me, they're like, share me all your secrets. There isn't any secret. It takes hard work. It takes you being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable situations, I had to learn to be comfortable with. That's what I was trying to say. So in order for me to hit that expansion, in order for me to keep going, these are some of the things that I had to learn. So one, I did a YouTube search. I looked on YouTube to see what are some careers for former teachers. And you will see some very interesting things. But there was a lot of things that, like, okay, that seems cute. No, I don't want to be an educational consultant. No, that doesn't sound like me. Okay, a virtual assistant. But then I saw online tutoring. And then I was like, ooh, that's something. That means I can still teach, because that's what I do. I love to teach. And I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort just to get that certification. Passing that praxis was the glorious day of my life. I hate to say it, but it was true, because I took the praxis, the math one, for secondary, because this was when it was split. For secondary math, I took it 11 times. 11 times. It got to the point that after I took the test, I come home and just sign up for the next one. And if I pass it, I'll get reimbursed. That's basically my mindset, because I wanted it. I saw how other people were teaching. I saw how kids reacted to different types of teaching. And so I learned what to teach, what not to teach, how to teach it, and so forth. So by looking at that whole thing, I could have easily, thank you, Joanne, I could have easily gave up after one time. Easily. But I didn't, because I saw that I'm pretty good at this thing. Because I know I can break down mostly any math content that I feel comfortable with, to break it down, like say fractions. I can teach anybody how to do fractions and break it down in a way that they understand. I can't just go everything strict off the book. I take people's personalities, I take people's interests when it comes into, and I've always been that type of teacher. So to the point that even some of my former colleagues with their kids, they're calling me to tutor their kids because they remembered, you know what, Audrey really did good with this class, with that particular class. Yeah, I did. So went online, did search, found a program, and I'll plug it in. Joanne Kaminsky, the ultimate support group for online tutors. Most people be like, Audrey, you're plugging someone else? Yeah, why not? She helped me with the foundation. But my thing is, I had to take what I learned and tweak it to the way that was designed for me. Because she is a reading tutor. She's a reading extravaganza. That's her thing. But with the math, I always know, just like in the classroom, when you're a math teacher, everyone's like so excited about, hey, we're going to do a project. Yay, we're going to do this. Okay, English is going to do this. Science is going to do this. History is going to do this. It's going to be awesome. All right, language arts, yay. Math, just do your thing. And I'm like, really? Or yeah, math, you can help with the statistics. So you want me to teach statistics? Yeah, just for them to find the average. Just to find the average for the whole semester? No, we're going to do this for the whole year. Okay, no, we're not doing that. And then we're like seen as the shunned ones. And it happens every single time. So that's why it's like I take a little bit, but then I had to remember that I have to design it the way that I want to design it. And that's one thing that I do with my tutoring thing. I look at each child individually. Even though I have two sisters, they live in the same household, but they're not the same personality. So when it really comes, some people keep calling me a stalker, but when it really comes down to what is it that I want to do, I had to do the research. I had to find accountability partners. And it's great to find accountability partners that are like linked up, but I needed someone that's more advanced, that knows the business, that knows how to structure it. So that takes a lot of research. It's not just going to fall into your lap. So after looking at all that, then all these things start popping up. Hey, why don't you work for this particular platform? Or, hey, there's another person that has a tutoring business. I know I'm going through a flash that has a tutoring business. Why don't you work for them? I don't want to work for someone else. Because if I wanted to work for someone else, I might as well just stay in the classroom and just continue to deal with all the foolishness that I dealt with over there. I don't want that. I really and truly want my own structure. I want my piece because let's check out the numbers, right? Education, it's $1 billion business. Like last year, it was roughly $7.69 billion for education, just education alone, educational learning, educational structure, educational resources, tools, all that. Almost 8 billion. They're predicting by the end of this year, it's going to be $8.97 billion business. So if you want numbers, there's your numbers. There's money out there. And we're sitting here saying, well, the education system is broken. Yeah, it is broken. But here's the thing. That's how I was able to make a business out of it. They're not going to change. You can march. You can do starvation. You can do whatever you want. You can walk out. They're not going to change at all. Not at all. So my thing is, instead of me being miserable inside of a classroom, why don't I do this? Let me see how I can help kids advance, grow, extend, and be able to be independent learners and growers of their own right. How can I do that? What am I good at that I can help them, teach them, reach that goal? Tutoring. And it clicked. It just really clicked. And that's why I always keep saying, even though there's all these platforms out there, I'm going to fan myself because that's what I do. Because when I get all excited and pumped up. But every time you see all these platforms, it's just like slavery then too. They're paying you 15, 20, maybe $30, but they're asking the parents for $85, $90. Why? I'm doing all the work. But what's the difference between me getting all the money and staying with this platform, getting some of the money? Marketing. And why are we afraid of it? So before I can get deeper and diving, because I'm going to show you, and unfortunately, Instagram, you won't be able to see that, but you'll be able to see it on the replay, that I put together a breakdown of what is the ecosystem of tutoring. And I don't think a lot of people actually know what exactly is that ecosystem. And there is an ecosystem. There is a design around it. And for those that have been with my lead generation challenge that I did a few months back, hey, take a look, because this is something that you need to understand and you need to grow from it. So when I take a look at this, let me get my picture out of here. There's a whole series of things that's happening. Before you go leaving and telling everybody, F you, F you, F you, you're cool, and just like driving off like, Thelma and Louise with a middle finger in the air, beeping your horn as you're zipping down the driveway of the school, before you do that, one, repress that. I know you want that moment, but repress it. Before you get into any kind of business, you have to have, and they always call it the mindset. You have to have the right mindset. But as teachers, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. You need a detox. You need to cleanse yourself of all impurities, all the negative thoughts that was thrown upon you, all the times that you was sick and they were given guilt feelings for being sick and you didn't come to school and they load you up with more stuff. You need to detox. You need to fully cleanse yourself. And just remember that you're no longer a martyr. Once you get past that guilt, and now you got that mindset of why I'm doing this, because I want to help kids out, because I really want to grow my business based off of my skill set and not someone taking my skill set to make money for themselves. Once you make that shift, everything's going to be great. Right? So you're basically going to have to remember that you're running a business. You're not just going to be someone's friend. And I will have to put another plug for my friend Alex. Trust me, she set me straight the other day. She was like, Audrey, you can't just be everyone's friend. You got to be the authoritarian. If you want this business to grow, you have to show people that you are the authority. You are the one that they need to come to. I feel that way from my tutoring. So why can't you feel the same way as you're helping other people with their tutoring businesses? So with me, I have to get that whole mindset of this is what I did. I felt like I needed a change. The change was still in line with what I loved. I turned my passion into a business. I don't think of tutoring as a job. I think of it as another way for me to reach out to another student and help them break the barrier so they can go and be independent learners. That's what I want. That's all I want. And the best thing, this is taking me everywhere. This is not only taking me just to the state of Maryland, it's taking me to other places in the United States, Florida, California, Ohio, Texas, Massachusetts, Virginia. And it's also taken me to Cairo, Egypt, and Nairobi, Kenya, which they found me here. It's insane. But because I want to build those relationships and also to learn that I don't have to chase after people. And that's what a lot of you guys are doing. I got to chase. I got to get those clients. I got to get them, get them, get them. Like you feel like the one from Lord of the Rings, like, oh, my precious. Like, calm down. You don't need all that. You just need to present yourself in a way that this is who I am. And hopefully you guys are seeing that in all of my crazy videos and things that I do on TikTok and some of these lives. So by believing in myself and reaching out and knowing what my purpose is, that's that mindset that I got to keep. any kind of business that you're doing, if it's tutoring, if it's building a goat farm, whatever, that's what you have to really stick down to it. Then on top of it, you need a plan. You can't just go in there willy-nilly. Okay, I just need clients. All right. So when you do get the clients, the next thing is going to be onboarding. When you do get the clients, what are you going to do? What are you going to say? What should you have already prepared so you don't have to do all this running around when you finally get a client? And then that client's going to feel like you're a little disorganized and then they're going to leave. So when you fight me, tutors, that keep asking, well, how'd you get your clients? I make sure that I have my stuff organized. I make sure I know what dates and times I have available for tutoring. I make sure I don't have a contract. I have my terms and conditions. So that means if you need to turn something into me, you need to submit it by this time. If not, there's going to be a charge. And here's my thing. I'm going to have you from this time to this time. If you need to cancel, you need to communicate with me. And those are my boundaries. I know certain situations, things just pop up at the last minute. That's fine. And I have other things to cover for that. But you need to have those things. You need to be able to communicate with your potential clients. If you don't know, if you're one of those people that are very afraid of talking to people, don't do online tutoring because you're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to figure out what is your Sasha Fierce, alter ego that you're going to have to buck up, as we say in Jamaica, big up your chest and go and get what you need to get. Because if you don't have that mindset, see how it goes back to the mindset? Don't do it. Just stay in the classroom. All right. So then once you get your clients, is this your person? Is that person that you want to work with? How do you know? So you have to sit down and soul search all this stuff. And then the marketing, what is out there for marketing? There's things changing each and every day. What is one thing that seems stable? And a lot of people say Facebook groups. Some people say LinkedIn. Some people go on Instagram for things. But no matter what, you need to go out there. Don't just say, well, I did it once and I don't want to do it again. Okay, then don't do this tutoring thing. Don't do business. Just be a sheep instead of the shepherd, because that's what you're doing. You're guiding people to their next steps. So in order for you to do that, you got to have belief in yourself, because there's going to be times you thought it was an ideal client. I got 3 kids that needs assistance. You mentioned your price and all of a sudden, oh, wow, that's too much. And then you're taking it personal, like, oh, well, maybe I should lower my price. Maybe. But guess what? I don't charge based of hourly wages. I charge based of value. I see myself bringing a lot of value. But then I always give a little. I do the try before you buy type thing. That's what I do for my marketing. Let's try it. Let's try it before you buy it. And I know most people are like, oh, you should charge them for this and charge. Okay, fine. But if I can put it very plainly to you guys, I don't chase pennies. I don't chase, I attract. And I sure as hell don't attract pennies. I don't. I want the best out of people, and it shows. So if that means I have to give that child an extra 10 minutes just to make sure that they understand the concept, that's what I do. If that means that, all right, let's see what you're currently working on with homework. All right, how you feel about this? Oh, this is really great. Talk to your mom. Let's see if we can make an appointment. We did. That's what I do. If I see a kid who's struggling and that a special needs population, and I ask the parents, so do you have any not extracurricular, but do you get extra assistance through the schools? And they tell me no. So then I get blunt, like, does your child have an IEP or a 504? And they say no. And I'm like, you need to do that. You need to get in touch with the counselor, get them tested and all that stuff. A lot of parents are like, well, I don't want them to have the stigma. Okay, so you want them to continue to fail? They're resources. Your child doesn't have to stay in this. They can be in there for a semester. They can be there maybe for a year, and that's all they needed just to get them adjusted. They're using resources. Or when I see a teacher that's doing dirty by one of my kids, you're darn right. I'm going to be like, give me that teacher's email. Give me their phone number. Let me talk it out. Let's find out what's going on. How can I adjust? How can we do? Okay, so now let's be the village for this child. Let's be the village. And if you put it upon the child, like, oh, you got a tutor, and you do that, trust me, I will find you. I will drive. I will go take a plane, and I will come and get you, because that's how I am. That's my precious. And I fight for my kids. And the parents are like, oh, thank God. Someone else that understands the concept of education that can help me through it. Because I've talked to parents several times about, you have to stay on top of this and this. All this other stuff, I can handle this, I can handle that. I show my value. So then when it comes to content creation, I know it's hard. When it comes to marketing, I know it's hard, because there's so many people that are saying so many different things. You need this. No, you need this. No, you need a website. No, you don't need a website. I'm going to be truthful. When you first start, you don't need a website. Don't waste your money on it. You just need a presence. You just need, where's my cell phone? Oh, I'm looking at it. So it's been that type of day. So you just need the contents in your cell phone. Get with your friends, get with your family, get in your personal Facebook group and go live. Tell people, put a video up there and say, hey guys, I'm going on a new venture. I'm doing online tutoring. If you know anybody, I will create a flyer for you to share on your platform for me. That'll be great. That's where you start. Everyone keeps saying, I don't know where to start. That's where you start. You got people around you that love you, that care for you. Reach out to them. Before you know it, you got a whole list. And then you got some content. Then you need to sit down and figure out, what is your plan? Who is your ideal client? Okay. What do you need to onboard it? Okay. So when you bring someone in, what do they need before you get started with your sessions? How much you want to charge? You get to figure that out. Take a look at your demographics, your economic demographics around you. Take to see, like, all right, if I'm in a poor area and I know I'm going to be attracting a lot of people in the poor area, I can't be going out starting off at $87 an hour. It took me a long time for me to finally get up to 87. I remember when I first started, someone called me a scammer. Me. What? I didn't understand that. Because I was so concerned about other people's pockets. I was charging like $25, and this lady from Maine, I remember, called me a scammer. Yeah. I reached out to her and I just said, look, I'm just concerned because it was the beginning of the pandemic. I'm worried about other people's pockets. Can't do that anymore. And I've had business coaches along the way that will have passing conversations. And this one told me, you're in the same spot as you were 6 months ago. You're not doing anything. And I'm sitting here like, lady, I'm on Facebook. I'm on this. I'm on that. It's just like, but your finances are not going anywhere. You can do all that stuff all you want. Until you stay true to yourself and how much you're worth, you're not going anywhere. So I'm definitely passing that information on to you. I know this is a long video, but hopefully this is a video that's going to wake you up. If you want to be an online tutor, it's not so magic. There's so many people that have, I will call some people out. Why not? There were so many people that reached out and say, oh, Audrey, I want to talk to you about how you did your online tutoring. Not a problem. And I'll even set up question and answer sessions. No one comes. Or they set up a private meeting and they constantly cancel. No. And then want to ask me, oh, well, can we make up? No. And I'll be truthful. I'm calling it out right now. No. Because my thing is, at that point, at that time, you didn't value my time. And then you wonder why a lot of people don't want to do a lot for other people. And it's hard. But these are the things that you need to do. These are the things that you have to address and understand. You have to get your mindset. You have to get a business plan. Now, you don't have to have a thick dissertation or anything like that. You just need like a 1-pager Just some of the things like, okay, what are some of the things that I need? Who are going to be my ideal clients? How much do I want to make in a year? Okay, that means I need to figure out how many students I'm going to need at a certain price point for me to make that amount, because you got bills. Bills are going to keep going no matter what. So you have to figure that out. I can help you break it down, but push comes to shove, your say is the final say. You get the final say of what you want to do. So by looking at all that, let me try to kind of reach it over here. By looking at all this is that ecosystem. This is what tutoring is. It's not just, oh, I'm doing it for fun. Okay. If you're doing it for fun, have fun. But don't come around looking at me saying, oh, well, how come Audrey's able to get all these clients and I'm not able to get any? Because Audrey works. Because Audrey steps up. Let me take a look. Hey, Miss Walsh. It's been forever. So it really is. I have to win. I have to want to do for me, because I can't sit around waiting for the government to do for me. They got bigger problems as is. But my thing is, I have to pay to play. Because once you say, I want to be an online tutor, and you want to make it legit, and you guys are getting your LLCs, and you're reaching out and you're paying your taxes, you have to pay your taxes 4 times a year. Your estimated taxes, because they don't trust you enough to make anything to make sure they get their cut. So that's why they have to make sure you're going to have to pay it 4 times a year. That's one, instead of once a year. And I never really understood taxes. I mean, I do kind of, but I really don't. Like, you're taking it out of my paycheck anyway, but then at the end of the year, I got to sit down and pay for a software to put together, or pay for a CPA or an accountant to make sure that I'm keeping record of all the money that you took out. And then if I didn't do it right, you're going to charge me a fee. I don't know. Sound like a mad hustle to me. I don't know what you guys see, but I mean, I think it's the ultimate hustle, because there's no way. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Joanne. See you later. But my whole thing is, it's like, it's going to take piece by piece. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. So you have to be truthful to yourself. Now, if you're still saying, okay, Audrey, I want to be truthful to myself, I want to get all this stuff done, and I'm still lost and confused. So what makes you keep things going? So my friend Alex puts a great, awesome way of putting it. Like, I have to know 3 things. So if I'm designing anything, so you, or actually the potential client, needs to have like 100% certainty that this is going to be the right move for themselves. So like, I need to know, is this really going to work? Like, yeah, it worked for Audrey, but is it going to work for me? Like, can I do this? The other thing is, like, no 2 businesses are exactly the same. So it's like, am I able to apply what she's presenting to me? So like, if I presented, say, how to design a business plan, like, how do I know that I'm doing it correctly? Or how do I know that this is more applicable on what I'm doing? And then lastly, is it easy enough for me to take action on my own? See, I'm a driven person. If you haven't heard it in the beginning, like when it came to basketball, that's what I did. No one told me, oh, you got to go to the courts every day. No one gave me an alarm. There wasn't an app back then, because cell phones were an older version, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I'm seasoned. But here's my thing. I had to tell myself. There was many arguments that I had with my mother when I was growing up, especially my sophomore year, my junior year during the summer when we were going to church. I didn't want to dress up for church because I wanted to go to the courts right after church, because I knew once I got home, I wouldn't be able to do anything. So she was always like, oh, you should dress up. You should dress up. I'm like, no, I want to go to the courts after church, like right after. And she would drop me off like just before 8:45, but then she'll pick me up at 6:30 p.m. That was the days that you can be on the court, working on your skills, bouncing the basketball off the wall, working on my chest passes, my bounce passes, my long passes, my rebounding skills, doing sprints in the blazing hot sun on pure concrete, not painted concrete, pure concrete. That's who Audrey is. So if you don't know, now you know. Audrey is dedicated. Audrey is driven. When Audrey sees something and it sees that it's beneficial not only for Audrey, but for a large scheme of people, Audrey would make that her passion and drive and move forward. That's what Audrey does. So if you're really thinking about it, there's a couple things I do live by. So in closing, because I'm about to get hyped up. I don't chase sidetracked. So that means when you see my videos, when you see my lives, that's me. Okay. That's who I am. If someone speaks clearly, that's the one thing before I die. I want people to say, when they say my name, they have a smile on their face because they know how hard I was hard worker. They know how dedicated I was. And my thing is, every school that I worked with, they knew that. So when I was leaving, they were like, man, well, who did this? Audrey. Oh, who did that? Audrey. Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, we need to do this. Who did that before? Audrey. I put a stamp on every place that I've ever been to the point I do the same thing with tutoring. Even that tutor or tutee that got the free breakdown from me, that whole try before you buy. And they say, well, you're a little too expensive. And they go, oh, wait, not a problem. But every other tutor that they go through, they're going to be comparing me to them each and every time. What's wrong with that? And do they come back? Yes, they do. They find it. They find it. So that's one. And the other one is I like to build relationships. You can't do this whole thing called business by yourself. And for me, I'm not coming in as a 2-person income. No, I'm it. Okay. Like I am it. I pay my mortgage, my bills, my utilities, my food, all that is all under me. So I don't have another person to take up the slack. I don't have another person paying my mortgage. I don't have another person that's helping with, I don't have kids, but some people might have children that's helping with the children. Like everything is me. So I really like to speak to a lot of those single parents, a lot of those people that are coming from a one-income family. Let me show you how to break all these things down. Maybe not so much on the cheap, but have it more feasible. Okay. So that's basically how it keeps me going. So how do I really and truly keep it going? It's just 2 things, babies. It is faith and value. That's it. I have to give faith to God. I'm sorry if you don't appreciate that. If you don't want to call it God, you want to call it the universe, wherever you want to call it. But I have faith because right now I've lived on this planet for 51 years and I'm just waking up. And I'm mad that I'm just waking up. But am I going to sit around and just be mad, or am I going to make the adjustments? I'm going to make the adjustments. And then I understand my value. I truly understand who is Audrey. And it took some time because I was too busy trying to be a great daughter or a great friend or a great wife. And then I lost me. I'm not losing me ever again. Never, ever again. All I can do is just improve on myself. So how I improve on myself, that means it shows up in my tutoring sessions. It shows up that I tell a kid that one day she's like, I'm never going to get this. And I'm like, stop. Why do you feel that way? Well, it seems like everybody else, stop. You're comparing yourself to everybody. Forget them. And she laughed. And I'm like, don't tell your teacher that. But my thing is, be true to you. Don't let other people rush you. If you need more time with the assessment, you ask the teacher if you can get more time with the assessment. And if that doesn't take up, talk to your mom, have a meeting, and then you guys will figure out a way for you to get more time for the assessment. Because a lot of kids, they know it, but they just need more time to process, because there's so many things popping up in their heads. This person hates me. My boyfriend broke up with me. I don't like this teacher. I just got from a class that had another test. I'm really hungry. I wish I didn't live like this anymore. All these things are floating around these kids' heads. And me as a teacher, it's my job to be like, how are you? How are things going? So when I do that, no one told me to do that. That was just within me. That's my value. So I want to come in closing to say, hey, you got this. If you want someone that's like an accountability partner on steroids, you want to be able to brainstorm something, because like I said before, no two businesses are exactly the same. Even though I learned a lot from Joanne when it came to that structuring, but I had to put it together to have it make sense for math, to have it make sense for me. I don't have anyone to back me up. I'm it. And since I'm it, I see how I can go and progress and see how I was able to make these changes. But really, it comes from within you. What is it that you want your business to be? Write it down and go seek out some assistance for someone that has not only just start like you are, but someone that has been doing it and is actually getting some success from it. If that sounds like you, I do have a Facebook group called From the Classroom to Online Tutoring. It's a virtual community. And we basically going to be sharing out some events. We actually have an event this Saturday, which is my collab workday. So the last Saturday of every month, I can't believe I'm saying this right now. Uh, it's just October just started, and then boom, here it is. We do like a mini Q&A session, and then we'll get some time for you to actually work on something on your business, because that's the other thing. We got so many distractions. So now we're just wrangling it in and say, all right, 45 minutes, you're working on your business. You're either sending emails, you're creating a post, you're creating a flyer, you're trying to get your calendar situated, whatever it is. And then you share out to get feedback. How often do you ever get feedback on your stuff? You may be talking to yourself and you're like, yeah, that looks good, but it may not even need it. So you're actually going to get some feedback from that. And then I'm thinking about some other promo opportunity. So something for during the holidays, because let's be real, when you're tutoring, especially secondary, when the kids are on break, they're on break. So you have like a good solid 2, sometimes 3 weeks over the winter break that you won't have any kids. So I was trying to think of some kind of activity that would be great and fun and a little festive for the kids. And if you're thinking about it, and if you want to be more information about it, come join the group, because all the information is definitely there for you. So this is what I got to say. I don't really like talking about myself, as I talked for 43 minutes, but I really feel that I'm a type of person that I'm just like driven. And I know there's some people that aren't driven that want to be driven, but you really have to come first, one, with the right mindset. Teachers, get an enema, detox your body before you start taking in information. Take a look at yourself. Take a look at what you want your business to be. And if you want someone to brainstorm and to help break these things down, go ahead, join the group, DM me, find me, connection, smoke signal, whatever you want. All right. Then you can come and we'll set up a time in a meeting and let's talk this out. All right. So I'm going to end the stream now. So hopefully you guys have an amazing day and continue to be awesome. Take care.